You'd think robbing the United States Mint would be a mission impossible, right? Laser grids, pressure plates, armed guards everywhere. A scene straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. But what if I told you one of the biggest heists in U.S. history didn't involve any of that? Instead, it was pulled off with something as simple as a lunch pail. This is the story of the Great Denver Mint Robbery of 1922. A crime that wasn't a violent, guns-blazing raid, but a quiet, calculated inside job that went on for months. Let's set the scene. It's Denver, Colorado in the early 1920s. The Denver Mint is a fortress. It's a symbol of American financial security, packed with gold bars and coins. It was considered absolutely impenetrable. But the biggest threat wasn't a gang of master criminals trying to break in. It was the very people trusted to work inside. Starting in 1922, a group of Mint employees began a slow, methodical theft. No dynamite, no dramatic showdowns. Their method was deceptively simple. Day after day, they would smuggle small amounts of gold out of the facility. They'd hide gold dust and small pieces in hollowed-out shoe heels, inside their clothing, and most famously, in their lunch pails. A little bit here, a little bit there. It was a heist happening in plain sight, a death by 1,000 cuts. Because the theft was so gradual, it went completely unnoticed for months. The internal security and oversight at the time were shockingly lax. No one was double-checking the inventory with the rigor you'd expect. The employees were exploiting a system built on trust, and they were cashing in big time. Before anyone caught on, they had managed to sneak out an estimated $200,000 worth of gold. In today's money, that's several $1,000,000. So how did this all come crashing down? As with many financial crimes, it was the boring but essential work of an audit. During a routine inventory check, officials finally noticed a significant discrepancy. The numbers just didn't add up. Panic set in as they realized a massive amount of gold was simply gone. The investigation immediately turned inwards. There were no signs of a break-in, so the culprits had to be on the payroll. The feds descended on the Denver Mint, and it didn't take long for the scheme to unravel. Several Mint workers were arrested and put on trial. The evidence was overwhelming. Multiple employees were convicted for their roles in the heist. Interestingly, despite the scale of the crime, the sentences they received were relatively light. Justice was served, but perhaps not as harshly as you might expect. The good news: authorities were able to recover most of the stolen gold, but the real damage was to the public's trust. The idea that the U.S. Mint, a federal institution, could be so easily robbed from the inside was a national scandal. It was a massive wake-up call. The fallout from the 1922 robbery was huge. It forced a complete overhaul of security and accounting practices at all U.S. mints. Stricter internal controls, more frequent and thorough audits, and better employee screening were all implemented to ensure something like this could never happen again. The Denver Mint robbery remains one of the most fascinating and audacious insider thefts in American history. It proves that sometimes the biggest threat to a fortress isn't an army at the gates, but a few trusted people on the inside with a clever plan and an empty lunchbox. What do you think is the most clever heist in history? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most incredible events. See you next time.